بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه واتبع هداه إلى يوم الدين وبعد. Let's get started. Inshallah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala stated in Surah Al-Kahf, and we finished to verse number 15, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala stated 16, وَإِذَا اعْتَزَلْتُمُوهُمْ وَمَا يَعْبُدُونَ إِلَّا اللَّهَ فَأْوُوا إِلَى الْكَهْفِ يَنشُرْ لَكُمْ رَبُّكُم مِّن رَّحْمَتِهِ وَيُهَيِّئْ لَكُم مِّنْ أَمْرِكُم مِّرْفَقًا وَإِذِ اعْتَزَلْتُمُوهُم. Again, here is another action of the people of the cave, that sometimes it is important for the heart of a believer to be able to achieve, which is to seclude or to withdraw yourself from people sometimes. Al-uzla is isolation. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, and when they withdraw from them, meaning from their people, khalas, they gave da'wah. And طبعا isolation has rulings, meaning that if there's a benefit behind it. If there's no benefit behind it, then the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said in the hadith, لأن تخالط الناس, it is better to mix with people. قال يا رسول الله أيهما, which one is better? To isolate yourself, just to be alone, no, you don't socialize with anybody? Or is it okay to mix and talk? He said, أن تخالط الناس, to mix with people is better, and to be patient upon their harm, because when you mix, you're going to get a lot of feedback. The least you'll get is distraction. You sit in a gathering, if you want to do dhikr, the rest are not doing it, you'll be distracted by what they say, what they do. So isolation here has rulings, and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he gave him that stage, that journey in his life where he isolated for 6 months into the cave. SubhanAllah, it's a similar story. And Rasulullah sallam also went to a cave and he isolated and he left his people. So Allah is reminding him in Surah Al-Kahf of the action of the people of the cave, where he himself sallallahu alaihi wasallam did. The revelation came down when he was where? Ghar Hira. Wasn't he isolated from? قال فحبب إليه الخلاء ثم حبب إليه الخلاء. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam loved to be isolated and to be away from people. 6 months, and then Jibril came to him, and then we know the story. So it is a similar situation here, the people of the cave and the cave of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. وَمَا يَعْبُدُونَ إِلَّا اللَّهِ فَأْوُوا إِلَى الْكَهْفِ فَأْوُوا إِلَى الْكَهْفِ. Subhanallah, when you're running away from a problem, you try to escape to a solution. The cave is not a solution. The cave is tighter. Okay? You're going to go in. You don't know what's inside. You don't know how the plan is going to go. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, فَأْوُوا إِلَى الْكَهْفِ. What do we need to understand here? When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala plans something for His servant, His plan is the best of plans. We might not see the plan. Allah said, فَأْوُوا إِلَى الْكَهْفِ. When you go from hardship, you're trying to bring about ease. Here, the situation is that they're going through hardship, and then they're running to a cave. It sounds like more hardship, but the cave is going to be the protection. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, يَنْشُرْ لَكُمْ رَبُّكُمْ مِنْ رَحْمَتِهِ. The word yanshur in Arabic, he said, then seek refuge in the cave. Your Lord will open a way for you from His mercy. In Arabic, the word nashara is to spread out. When you spread something out, when you say, for example, nashartul khabar, I spread the news, that means what? It went everywhere. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, the cave that you see, that looks tight, in it is going to be rahmah. يَنْشُرْ لَكُمْ مِنْ رَحْمَةِ. And this would bring us to another concept that we could remind ourselves of today. The toughest stage of the hereafter is what? What's your toughest stage in the hereafter? No, before that. No, you didn't get. You didn't even get to the hisab yet. Huh? القبر. القبر. The grave. The grave is that squeeze moment where a person will be left completely alone. Your family, قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم فيذهب معه الأهل والأصحاب والمال والعمل يرجع اثنان ويبقى واحد. The Prophet ﷺ said your family, your friends, your relatives, they'll go with you, your money, your wealth, and your actions. Two would return and one will stay. Money and children, they'll put that, wallahi, 5-10 minutes after, they'll be like, خلاص. They'll cry. Okay, they'll sit for an hour if they are so attached. 2 hours, 3 hours. They'll sit till dark and then they have to leave anyway. The only thing that will stay with you is what? Al-amal, your actions. So, no, your action in general, your action. So if it's a righteous action, لو عمل صالح ينشر لكم ربكم من رحمته. Your grave will be a garden of paradise that the Prophet ﷺ says يمد فيه مد بصره وزيادة. That the person will be seeing his grave as wide as far as his sight could see and more. I know we cannot picture that because all we see in the grave is what? Is that little hole in the ground where we have to stay there. And it's very, I don't know if any of you have been down to a grave, okay? In Egypt, the graves are like in little rooms, not in the ground, not the lahm, which is the sunnah that we have here. So in Egypt, they have it in little rooms, like a small room that you have to go in it, okay? And the reason of that is that the land in Egypt is so muddy. So if you do a grave in the ground, the mud will bring it up and it causes a problem. So they got the fatwa that this is better for the country. That's not the sunnah. When you go into that and you're burying someone and you see how squeezed the grave is, how close it is, and you're looking outside, you're getting out at the end. I know it's a little hard for some people, but I'm gonna get out. I'm not gonna stay. But just imagine that moment when we escape this dunya to Allah. You're returning to Allah. It's not going to be a choice, and you're not going to come back because you're going to be calling upon everybody to help you, and no one would. So we need that rahmah. We need that yanshur lakum rabbukum min rahmah. We need Allah to spread that mercy on us at the time like that. Uthman ibn Affan radiallahu anhu ardah used to say, wallahi, he used to say that whenever he remembers Jannah or hellfire, he wouldn't cry as much as when he remembered the grave. So someone asked him, they said, how come you don't cry as much as you cry when you are in the grave? He said the grave is the first stage of the hereafter. If I pass that stage, everything else that is coming will be easy. If I don't pass, and the Prophet ﷺ said it's either the grave of a person is either a garden of paradise or a place of hellfire. Wal-'iyadhu billah. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make our graves a garden of paradise. Amen. So he said, يَنْشُرْ لَكُمْ رَبُّكُمْ مِنْ رَحْمَتِهِ. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make the graves of our loved ones who left this dunya to be a garden of Jannah, inshallah, upon them, and to send His mercy upon them day and night, Ya Rabbi. So he said, يَنْشُرْ لَكُمْ رَبُّكُمْ مِنْ رَحْمَتِهِ وَيُهَيِّئْ لَكُمْ مِنْ أَمْرِكُمْ مِرْفَقًا. وَيُهَيِّئْ لَكُمْ, and Allah will make easy for you your affair. Mirfaqa, the word mirfaq is the logistics or the tools that a person uses to survive or to live. So al-mirfaq literally means what do you guys call, what are they called in English? Electricity and water and all that. Utilities. There you go. Allahu Akbar. The Quran. You memorize it by heart. Utilities. Sahih. So the cave has utilities or no? Well, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said that. Mirfaqa means utilities, literally. Okay, not a way out. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that this cave is going to have full utilities for you to survive. None is seen when they entered. They didn't see anything. How? We need water, we need electricity, we need the sun, we need air, we need food, we need a place to sleep, we need a bed, we need a cover, we need so many things. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَيُهَيِّئْ لَكُم مِّنْ أَمْرِكُم مِّرْفَقًا. Allah will plan those utilities for you for free too. And this is what happened with every person who connects his heart to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah will spread His mercy and Allah will make His affairs easy. Musa alayhi salam, when he was running from Fir'aun, picture this. Musa's running with his group. There are few hundreds, okay? Fir'aun and his soldiers are running after him. 300,000, okay? They're running. They got to the sea. Now, all what Musa saw was what? Water, the sea. The people with Musa, what did they say? Huh? قالوا إنا لمدركون. We will be caught up to. There is no way we. خلاص, that's it. It's over. The river is, the sea is in front. Even if we jump, we won't be able to swim all the way to cross the sea. This is the sea. This is not a small river. And Fir'aun is behind. So both ways are what? Death. خلاص, you're dying either way. What did Musa say? قال كلا. Here is the part. كلا إن معي ربي سيهدين. The word hidayah, Allah is with me. Allah will guide me to something. Do you think that Musa knew that the sea would split? No. But he knew that there is a way out. Now, my part is not to look for a way out. My part is to take the means, and the way out, Allah will plan it for me. Because you could, subhanAllah, the proof for that is Musa alayhi salam. When Allah commanded him, okay, he hit the sea. He crossed, him and his people. He saw Fir'aun coming. What did he do? What did Musa do? He looked back and he did what? He took the stick and he wanted to do what? Close it up. خلاص, he finished. What did Allah say to him? وَاتْرُكِ الْبَحْرَ رَهْوًا إِنَّهُمْ جُنْدٌ مُغْرَقُونَ. He said, leave the sea open. Ya Allah, it's better to close because it does make sense. We got to the other side. That's all we need. Now let's close up so they don't come after us. Allah said, no, leave it open. وَاتْرُكِ الْبَحْرَ رَهْوًا. Leave the sea split. And Musa, of course, it's a command of Allah. But to him, what makes more sense here is what? To close it up. No, if you close it up, Fir'aun would take a different route and come after you. Let it open so he could go in with his people thinking that they're going to cross. And as soon as they get into the middle, boom, the sea is going to close on them. So they drown. So there is no way they will catch you and your people. But Musa didn't see that. So what we need is to ask Allah for guidance. Kalla Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, when he went to a cave, same cave, with Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radiyallahu anhu ardah. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned that إِلَّا تَنْصُرُوهُ فَقَدْ نَصَرَهُ اللَّهُ إِذْ أَخْرَجَهُ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا ثَانِيَ اثْنَيْنِ إِذْ هُمَا فِي الْغَارِ إِذْ يَقُولُ لِصَاحِبِهِ لَا تَحْزَنْ إِنَّ اللَّهَ مَعَنَا. When Rasulullah went to the cave with Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, the cave Thawr, where they were hiding for 3 days, if you go up and you see it, it has an opening that is going downward. So you have to go into the cave and then go down. That's how the cave looks. So if somebody wants to sit, they have to go down and sit. If you're on the entrance of the cave and you're looking, you have to look down to see the person. You can't, not looking straight. You actually have to look down to see the person. Abu Bakr as-Siddiq is sitting, Rasulullah is sitting there. The kuffar of Mecca got all the way to the entrance of the cave. And they stood there. And Abu Bakr as-Siddiq said to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Ya Rasulullah, لو نظر أحدهم تحت قدميه لرآنا. Look at Abu Bakr. It's very obvious. If one of them would to look under his feet, that's it. That's all they need to do. Just look down. They would see us. What did Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam say? قال يا أبا بكر ما ظنك باثنين الله ثالثهم. يعني complete submission, complete trust, complete reliance upon the Allah and the guidance of Allah. He said, don't worry, Allah is with us. How? See, our problem is we always ask how. Like just tell me how. How would it happen? And so much of asking how, we actually lose the importance of a lesson. When you tell someone, for example, when you become more religious, inshallah, when you come to the masjid, Rasulullah said, if you come to the masjid, Allah will take care of all your affairs. Okay? Rasulullah said that. Hadith, very clear. Whoever comes to the masjid, Allah promises to take care of his affair. The person will say, I left my lab and I came. I lost a few hours. How? That's the problem. They never said how. It was more, Allah said it, it will happen. How? He said it will happen. The how part is not up to us. And you see that in every story of the Quran and the prophets. If you think of how would it happen? Musa alayhi salam. His mother took him as a baby. She threw him into the water. He got to the other side. Allah told her in the Quran, Inna radduhu ilayki wa ja'iluhu min al-mursalin. We would return him to you, and we would send him as a prophet. طيب. If the mother saw the baby, she saw him in the basket into the sea. She didn't ask how. Even though her heart was doing what? Was fearing for the baby. فأصبح فؤاد أم موسى فارغة إن كادت لتبدي به لولا أن ربطنا على قلبه. But she didn't ask how, Ya Allah, how would you return him to me? Give me that. Like, give me what you gave to Yusuf. Allah gave Yusuf the how part, by the way. He didn't tell him how exactly, but he told him, because he showed him a dream when he was a child of the how things will happen, but the process itself. Because you want to build that trust. You want to build that connection between you and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to ask for his guidance. So they said, وَيُهَيِّئْ لَكُم مِّنْ أَمْرِكُمْ مِرْفَقًا. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will make easy for you, meaning, mirfaq means what? Utilities, yeah? Okay. Fire does what? Burns. Yes? طيب. Ibrahim alayhi salam was throwing into the fire. Here is another example. To every person who saw Ibrahim being thrown into the fire, they said what? La hawla wa la quwwata illa khalas, he was a nice guy. It makes sense. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala turned the fire into what? قُلْنَا يَا نَارُ. We said to the fire. Look at the word قُلْنَا. We said. So now, whatever the fire does in life that you're used to, we're gonna make it stop. And not only for Ibrahim, forever, because Allah didn't say قُلْنَا to the fire. No, He said we said to the fire. To fire means every fire on earth. No one was able to cook that day. لم ينضج قرع كما قال ابن كثير. Really? Why? Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said قُلْنَا يَا نَارُ. And nar here is infinite for all. Kuni, be, bardan. And subhanAllah, look at that. Bard means what? Cool. If it was cool, he would die. Because fire turns to freezer. If you put someone in a freezer, he ends up dying. Allah said, قُلْنَا يَا نَارُ كُونِي بَرْدًا, cool, وَسَلَامًا. and carry safety and security for him. So he's secured. All fire on earth stopped working that day. Every fire, because Allah left it open to that. The means here is surprising. The how. Ya Allah, why not send a strike from heaven with an angel upon these people and Ibrahim would be safe? No, I want to throw him into the fire that you guys think it will burn him. And I'm going to get him out of the fire alive, saved. So you could stop asking how. Do we stop asking how? We're humans. وكان الإنسان أكثر شيء جدلا. We're made to argue. And we're arguing with Allah. That's the problem. If you come today and say, Rasulullah said Islam will spread east and west and Islam will have victory, yeah, wallahi, I had a brother after khutbah. You know those people who, they don't believe in any hadith, they don't believe in any, they only tell you they follow Quran, and if they follow Quran, they should follow the hadith. Anyway, but he comes and says, MashaAllah, very nice khutbah, you're just trying to keep, to be optimistic and مش عارف. So I was like, MashaAllah, is that a good thing? He said, no. It's like you're giving them pain medicine. He's like, oh, you're giving people hope. How is Islam going to win with like, how? Wallah, when I heard the how, I couldn't argue. Khalas. Because you know how? A virus that cannot be seen by a naked eye in 2020 set all of you home. It will be impossible to tell people that we could have a lockdown on earth, everywhere on earth, and people would not leave their houses. They will not go to the beach. They will not have fun. They will not, go to nightclubs. They will stay home. People will be like, how are you going to do that? Yeah, you could do it in Davis, possible, which is not very possible in Davis, but possible, yeah? No, Allah will say, I'm going to do it on earth, not just in Davis. Even the Kaaba, no tawaf, no umrah, there was nothing. Everything shut down. Everything shut down? Yes. What caused it to shut down? Angels came from the skies. Shayateen opened up their weapon. A virus. Non-seen. You can't see it. COVID. A small little thing. Done. The power of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is beyond what we could imagine. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sends these signs over and over and over again. Look at these people. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, now he's going to move on, transit of the story, to show you his power. Forget the people now. Forget the people of the cave, who they are, which city they lived in, what's their names, how many number. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala shifted the story to completely something else. He said, وَتَرَى الشَّمْسَ إِذَا طَلَعَتْ. And you see when the sun rises, or when the sun rose, تَزَاوَرُ عَنْ كَهْفِهِمْ ذَاتَ الْيَمِينِ. It declines to the right from their cave. وَإِذَا غَرَبَتْ. And when it set, تَقْرِضُهُمْ ذَاتَ الشِّمَالِ. Turning away from them to the left, while they lay in the middle of the cave. وَهُمْ فِي فَجْوَةٍ مِّنْ ذَلِكَ مِنْ آيَاتِ اللَّهِ. This is from the signs of Allah. وَتَرَى الشَّمْسِ. The sun, here the power of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The sun rises to the cave from the west, sets to the east, yes? Or the other way around? Okay. If the sun rises to the cave from the east, yeah? You sure? Okay. How long till the sun stays in the zenith? We're talking about from Fajr to Dhuhr, so we're talking about 5-6 hours. And then the light, the rays of the sun will be at its peak, and then for a few hours, and then it will decrease and shift to set. If the cave entry was to the right, then, to the left, the sun would set on them for 8 hours or so every day. And they slept for how long? 300 years. If you have the sun on you 8 hours every day, what will happen to your body? You'll burn. So Allah shifted the opening of the cave. Allahu A'lam. Allahu A'lam. This cave was meant to be built for them to go? Or Allah commanded the sun. And look at the ayah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَتَرَى الشَّمْسَ إِذَا طَلَعَتْ تَزَاوَرُ. It's like the sun is doing what the mother does. The sun itself is shifting away from them so it wouldn't harm them. Who told the sun to do that? How do the sun know that, this planet over there, we're talking about a size that we can't even imagine now, and they have to measure all that. تَزَاوَرُ عَنْ كَفِهِمْ. It comes to the cave, it gives them some light, and then it turns away from them. So it wouldn't harm them. And when it sets, it passed by their cave, give them some light, because you need light to live. You need air to live. So we have to make sure that there's enough air for them to breathe. There's enough light. And what you need of enough is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala decrees for you to have as enough. So he said, وَتَرَى الشَّمْسَ إِذَا طَلَعَ تَزَاوَرُ عَنْ كَهْفِهِمْ ذَاتَ الْيَمِينِ. It goes to the right. وَإِذَا غَرَبَتْ. When it turns, it goes to the left. So it brings in some light in, then away, then out, and then it moves, and it keeps circling that way. Like subhanAllah, Shams, the sun is acting like a mother now who's taking care of them while they're asleep. قال الله عز وجل وإذا غربت تقريضهم ذات الشمال وهم في فجوة منه. And they are in the midst of the cave, meaning in the depth of the cave, not by the entrance, by the door. That will be harmful, because if a wind comes, anything could harm them. They are inside the cave. Okay? ذَلِكَ مِنْ آيَاتِ. He said, this is the sign of Allah. You want signs of Allah? Here is signs of Allah. What is the sign of Allah here? Remember, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is shifting the Quran, is shifting from what to what now? From the story of the people to his signs. So here's the sun, the air, okay, the utilities we're talking about. There's more to come. ذَلِكَ مِنْ آيَاتِ اللَّهِ مَنْ يَهْدِ اللَّهُ فَهُوَ الْمُهْتَدِ. Whomsoever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guides, then he is the most guided. وَمَنْ يُضْلِلْ. And whomsoever is misguided, فَلَنْ تَجِدَ لَهُ وَلِيًّا مُرْشِدًا. قال الله عز وجل, you would not find anyone to guide him. So guidance is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah guided them to escape so they could live. If they stayed behind, they wouldn't have survived. Let me link a story with you to the Quran, and we'll stop here inshallah and continue tomorrow with 17. Yusuf alayhi salam, if you look at his story and all the struggle that he went through, look at the stages. He was a child. His brothers were envious of him. So they planned to put him they first planned to kill him. Then they decided, you know what, better than not to kill him, but to put him in a well. And then they put him in a well. This group came, a traveler, a caravan. They took him, they sold him as a captive or a prisoner. Okay, so he became a slave. Now he went to this house of Al-Aziz. This women tempted him to fall into the haram. He said no. Then they put him into prison. And then he met two people. He interpreted the dreams. And then the person, when he interpreted for him and he came out, he forgot about him. So he spent about 7-10 years in prison. Then he became the minister of what is it? A treasure. Yeah, minister of treasure of the entire country of Egypt under the leadership of Al-Aziz. And then his parents came later on, and then the story was over. If somebody were to think about the story of Yusuf, they would say, why? Why all this? Yani, why did Yusuf too much. Prison, slave to his brothers. He left. Why all this? Now think of the story from a different perspective now. Yusuf is a nice kid, spoiled by his father. His father loves him so much. He keeps him next to him. He hugs him every day. And he's, ya mashallah, sit here. He would sit and grow old and he would become Yusuf. But he would not become the treasure. He would not become the treasurer of Egypt. So Allah wants to send, so you want to send him to Egypt. Okay, Allah, send him to Egypt when he's in his 40s, when he's an old man and he'll meet the king there. He'll interpret a dream for him. No. I want him to go through this process because I want to prove to you, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants to prove to us, that when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala decrees upon us the means, again, the how part don't exist. So from that, what we learned from today's dars is to get rid of the what? How. Just do your part. No, don't say, how am I going to pass my class? You have to study. Because you're going to start saying how forever. No. But you're going to study, okay? You're going to study. And then you have done your part. The how part, that is up to Allah. Allah wants to change your life. By the way, you could be in the 5th year of medical school. And then out of nowhere, you drop sick, you left your exam, you left the entire major, you shifted to something else. 10 years after that, you'll be like, subhanallah, now I know how would I become an engineer if I wanted to become a doctor. Just do your part and leave the how to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and Allah will surprise you in the best way and shape. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to guide our hearts. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to keep us guided. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to keep us upon the straight path. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give victory to the Muslim in means that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will make possible. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make our affairs easy. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to protect our hearts from all fitan and afflictions. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to guide our brothers and sisters and affirm their hearts in Gaza. Allahumma ameen. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give them victory, make them steadfast upon the straight path. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have mercy upon them, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept them and the ones who passed away to be among the shuhada and the salihin. Allahumma ameen. Sallallahu alayhi wa Muhammad. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Tomorrow inshallah will be Sheikh Yusuf and his dars inshallah, and Saturday inshallah. Barakallah.